Seha was born with exceptional power, and from a young age the adults around expected great things from him. However, the lad's peers saw him as a freak, so they teased and shunned him. 18 years ago, humanity faced extinction when monsters called dimensionals appeared from another realm. Initially, humans didn't have the weapons effective enough to defeat these mysterious monsters. One day, people with a new type of psychic ability called phase power appeared. With these skills, they began to defeat the monsters and close the dimension gates they came from. These individuals are officially called closers and work for the Union organization. Currently, Sylvie gives a speech to her classmates at the Union Youth Training Program graduation. She finished first in the class, so she is given this honor. As part of her excellent performance, she is made the captain of Team Black Lambs, so the girl heads out to meet some of her teammates. She ambushes Seha, who walks while enjoying his handheld game. Sylvie introduces herself and her position. However, Seha is not interested and tells her to get out of his way as he pushes past her. She pleads for him to wait, but he carries on walking. He's aware that she wants him to become a closer, but he reveals that he already got a call from Kim and refused the offer because he doesn't see any reason to do such a job. Sylvie makes it clear that the Black Lambs group are not a training team. They are the first underage team created to participate in real combat. This is testament to the skills of the members chosen. Seha points out that this doesn't matter, because they will have to serve as part of the Union force when they are adults anyway, so he wants to enjoy a normal life for as long as possible. Sylvie is confused because she thought that those with phase powers had a strong urge to protect humanity. Seha lets her know again that he is not interested in such sentiment, and he finds phase powers boring. The girl tries to make him feel guilty for delaying his duty. Seha gets triggered when she calls him a spoiled and self-centered kid. The statement brings back some of his painful memories. He holds Sylvie and states that she knows nothing about him to make such comments, so he walks off annoyed. Later that night, a former scientist from Union called Kalbach appears from a dimension gate and places a timed device near a power station. He is sure that humanity will have salvation if his experiments are successful. Kalbach became a half-monster during a failed unsanctioned experiment. He also met some high-ranking dimensionals called the Master and became affiliated with their nameless legion after hearing their plans. The following day, Sylvie reports in at her Union branch. She is greeted by Kim, the team's manager, and Bitna, their technical support. Sylvie gets excited when she sees the virtual training program she's to test. Bitna lets her know that it is the latest model. Kim is a little disappointed that they don't have enough agents on their team to take full advantage of such equipment. As she discusses her failure to recruit Seha, it is revealed that he is the son of the legendary closer heroine who fought in the Dimensional War. Kim also highlights Seha's difficult childhood, which clues Sylvie as to why he got so upset with her statement. This makes her feel guilty. She is ordered to enter the virtual training program. Bitna checks her vitals and makes sure that all the connections are complete. Sylvie finds herself in the virtual world and is determined to showcase her skills. Unfortunately for her, the device that Kalbach planted activates, which opens a dimension gate. Monsters with swords pass through and start to attack the equipment. This causes a power outage at the Union branch. Bitna starts to panic when the backup power supply also fails, because she is locked out of the virtual program as an emergency protocol. Sylvie's consciousness will be negatively impacted if they don't get the system back online. During that interim, the monsters are running rampant like some troublesome toddlers. Kim tries to call for special backup, but they are busy, so they will not be able to make it to the station in time. The manager remembers that Seha lives near the power station and calls Ran from the Union transportation team to get to him. Kim then rings Seha to inform him of the severity of the emergency and begs for his help. He is reluctant till the manager promises to never contact him again if he helps them. Ran is already at his doorstep before he can end his call. She picks him on the back of her motorbike, but he almost falls off as she races through the streets to their destination. The lad vomits as soon as they arrive. Ran points to the army of monsters destroying the power station and lobs a gun sword at him to deal with them. Seha catches it and wastes no time as he dashes in, cutting down the monsters with ease. He finishes them off with a very potent phase-powered downward attack. He heads to the Union branch after the battle, where he's thanked by Kim and hyped up by Bitna. They are sad that he will not be joining the team since he is so skilled. The manager makes a final plea for him to join. He only agrees if he's allowed to quit when he's no longer interested. Kim is happy with that arrangement, but their attention is taken when Sylvie regains consciousness. She is told that Seha saved her from being trapped inside the program. This prompts the team captain to thank him. They have a meeting after Sylvie recovers where details about their team's objectives are given. It turns to a big fight between the captain and Siha because the lad is playing his games instead of listening to their manager. One night, Sylvie is woken up when she has a nightmare about the monster attack that ripped her away from her parents. Tears fill her eyes as she clutches onto her family's necklace. But this is short-lived when breaking news comes in about an explosion that occurred in the city. The captain switches to different channels which give more information. Some survivors describe how a monster appeared after the explosion and express their hope that Union can deal with this issue. Sylvie makes her way to HQ where she sees a note from Bitna, informing her that the training machine is in perfect working order. She enters the lab where Seha is taking a break from his session in the simulation. He sips on his drink and points to the screen. They have a new member of the team called Yuri, who is currently in the training program. She clears a very hard stage with ease, and Kim is impressed with how quickly she has learned to fight. Bitna reveals that Yuri scores the highest among her peers. Seha still finds it hard to believe that she only awakened her phase power a year ago. Kim discloses that Yuri won the national kendo tournament before her abilities manifested. They all watch on as she defeats the next level of monsters with well-placed shots and cuts with her katana handgun combo. Sylvie watches in awe and admits that there was no one this good in the academy. The captain is happy that they have added such a reliable member to their team. Yuri exits the simulation, hoping that she performed well. She recognizes Seha because their classes are next to each other's. The girl hopes that they can get along and work well as a team. Yuri then turns her attention to Sylvie and comments on how pretty she is. Kim cuts her introduction short and commends her on her performance during the virtual training. The newcomer hopes that she becomes an official high-level agent so that she can enjoy the perks like a free house and good wages. The manager assures her that she will get all of that in good time. Sylvie enters the virtual trainer next and showcases her telekinesis powers. Kim remarks on improvements and hopes that her and Yuri can be friends. After the session, Sylvie walks home thinking about the possibility of her and the newcomer being friends. She bumps into Yuri, who is struggling with her bags as she comes out of a grocery store, but Sylvie helps her by taking some of the bags. As they walk, Yuri discloses how she had to retire competing in kendo when she awakened her power. But getting the opportunity to become a closer is exciting. Her parents were worried, but she managed to convince them that she will be fine. Sylvie notices that the newcomer has equipped some controllers that help her regulate and train her phase power. Yuri wanted to watch Sylvie train in the simulator, but she had to leave to get the ingredients to make dinner for her siblings. She invites the team captain to join her for the meal. Sylvie blushes and accepts the offer. They arrive at Yuri's apartment where her younger brothers rush to greet their sister. She politely asks the captain to look after the boys while she cooks. Sylvie thinks that they are cautious because of her eye and hair color. She also looks around the apartment to get more information about the family. She notes that there are 5 members and the parents look young. She quickly realizes that the kids were not cautious about her, but rather planning on how to bamboozle her with their antics. They run around the house till one of them trips, but Sylvie stops him from falling by using her telekinesis to make him float. The other boy wants to join his brother, so she makes him float too. The boys swim in the air pretending to be airplanes. Sylvie suddenly drops them when one of the kids almost grabs her family's necklace that floated out of her pocket. The boys laugh it off, but she apologizes and picks up her heirloom before rushing out of the home. Yuri turns to her brothers and gives them a look that blames them for her friend leaving. Sylvie later mopes around hoping that the boys are fine after she dropped them. Her doorbell rings and she finds Yuri outside holding her portion of the food. She lets her in, and the newcomer is taken aback by how big the apartment is. After some small talk, Yuri tries to excuse herself, but the captain holds her back and reveals that it is her first time having someone come to her house. Yuri stays back, and the two have a night watching a series while eating cake. The following day at HQ, Seha notices that the girls are suddenly best friends. He wonders if they will get any male members for him to also bond with. All the while, a guy called Jay heads to the bank to check his balance, and he is told that he's broke. The guy doesn't get deterred and asks the female cashier if she will go out with him to get some health drinks with his remaining money. She gives him a polite smile as she calls for security to escort him out. He thinks that he got rejected because of his eyes, so in preparation to meet his new teammates, he puts on his glasses because he doesn't want to scare them. Meanwhile, Kim complains to her boss for assigning the Black Lambs to a combat mission. She outlines how they are not ready, because Yuri can't even fully control her phase power yet. The manager suggests they send an experienced team of closers instead. The boss discloses that they are short-staffed. However, he has asked Jay to join the Black Lambs team to help counter the lack of experience. Jay fought in the Dimensional War. The boss feels like the city is in danger, so he needs all closers to be combat ready. During that interval, Seha and his friend play video games while in PE class. The lad pauses for a moment when he notices Yuri watching the kendo team practicing at the other end of the gymnasium. After school, the Black Lambs enter the training sim to improve their combat formations. Their attack fails, and everyone notices that Yuri is not her usual self. Jay sneaks into the lab and startles Bitna when he states that Yuri's movements are inefficient. The reason becomes apparent when it's revealed that she's thinking about the day her phase powers manifested during a kendo competition. The girl was disqualified because it's against the rules for those with supernatural abilities to take part. The following day, Seiha walks past the gymnasium and notices that Yuri is peeking inside again. He gets her attention and offers her one of his chocolate lollies. The two sit at one of the campus benches where Seiha discloses that he knows that her mistake in their last training session was due to her thinking about kendo and how much she misses it. He advises her to forget how her life was before unlocking her power, otherwise it will just hold her back. She ponders on his statement for a moment and thanks him before excusing herself. Jay overheard the conversation and tells Seiha that he should not have spoken to Yuri like that because he just broke her heart. Seiha is more confused as to who this strange mofo is, but he informs the stranger that all he did was tell her the truth. Jay feels like he will only understand how Yuri truly feels if he also experienced kendo. That night, Seiha recalls how badly he was treated when he was younger. He gets Bitna to create a dojo inside the training system, and later finds Yuri watching the kendo team practicing again, so he asks her to join him. They enter the training simulation, and she is surprised by the dojo. Seiha apologizes for not taking her feelings into consideration when advising her. Yuri blushes at the gesture. They can face each other in a kendo match since they are both phase users. Seiha gets a little offended when Yuri gives him a chance to back down. He refuses to be underestimated and attacks, which leads to the two exchanging strikes. Yuri tries to calm herself down when her powers start to manifest. Seiha reminds her that he too is a superhuman. The lad unleashes his power into his bamboo blade and goes for another assault. This leads to an epic clash. Seiha takes things to another level when he releases more of his phase force. Yuri understands the cue and gets serious for a moment. In one swift movement, she disarms Seiha and lands the winning blow. Difference in their skill is so great that the lad demands a rematch, claiming that she was cheating. He picks up his bamboo blade ready to fight again, but it explodes when he pumps his energy into it. His sore loser behavior causes Yuri to chuckle, so she gives him a rematch. The other members of Black Lamb gather to watch the fight. After the training session, Jay is formally introduced as the latest member of the team. He will also be their mentor on the battlefield. Seiha is surprised to see him since they already had an encounter. Jay has a little medical emergency as the others introduce themselves. He reveals that he needs fruit juice to recover. That is why he's mostly seen sipping some. His new teammates find his behavior to be a bit goofy and wonder if he can take care of them on the battlefield. Sylvie ends up enrolling in Seiha and Yuri's school. The other students gather to spy at the eccentric-looking newcomer from Union Academy. Some are sure that she is strong and worry that she will destroy their school if she ever gets angry. Sylvie is not surprised by the attention she is drawing to herself, as she didn't expect to have a normal school life. She is in the same class as Seiha, but he is too busy playing a match against his friend to make Sylvie feel welcome. He thinks that he has finally won a game against his gaming buddy, but the guy was too busy admiring Sylvie to pay attention. Seiha is sure that his fascination will fade when he sees the way she talks to him. Sylvie gets a message from Kim informing her that the location of their practice has changed. The team are to meet at the abandonment mall. She informs Seiha and Yuri that training will now be done in the real world instead of the system. After school, they gather at the mall, and they all recall the good times they spent at the shopping center before it fell from grace. Jay interrupts their reminiscing as he reveals how a huge dimensional gate opened at the mall 3 years ago. After the outpour of monsters was dealt with, the place was blocked off and became a practice area to train closers. The energy in the area is unstable, so suppression devices have been set up throughout to help manage it. The system alerts them if monsters appear, so he assures the trio that they should be fine. Jay also lets them know that the results of this session will determine how ready they are for real-life combat. He will be their examiner, and makes his intention of not going easy on them very clear, so he warns them to prepare carefully before the test begins. They will be playing a chasing game. Jay will act as a monster, and the trio need to catch him in 5 minutes to pass the test. He will be allowed to attack them during the final minute of the exam. Seiha and Yuri dash in when they learn that they can go home as soon as the test is over. Sylvie doesn't even get the chance to discuss formations and tactics first. She joins her team as they launch their attack. Jay casually dodges with his hands in his pockets. The captain tries to regain control of the situation as she coordinates their subsequent attacks, but the others don't listen. Jay parries and blocks them for 4 minutes, and for the last minute, he goes on the offense and swiftly disarms them all. He doesn't think that they would survive in combat with the level of power they just showcased. Sylvie berates Seiha for not following her lead. Yuri is also told off when she tries to calm down their captain. There is some time left before the end of the test, so Jay gestures for them to finish up. They finally work as a team and almost land a combination attack on Jay. The mentor is forced to kick the fireball to prevent it from exploding near them. It brings down debris and crushes some of the suppression devices. Jay uses this unpredictable situation to show how the simulation doesn't fully prepare closers for real battle. He then proceeds to give each team member constructive criticism on their strengths and weaknesses. He concludes that they are not ready for real combat. As the team try to process this reality, the system alerts them that a dimensional gate has opened. It also tells them that a B-rank monster has emerged. Jay gives the order for them to evacuate, but Sylvie points out that this higher-tier monster could have the ability to summon lower-ranked creatures through the gate. It could easily cause a disaster if they don't stop it before it gets out, so she suggests that they eliminate it. Jay agrees with her analysis and asks her what her plan is. She quickly learned from her failure during the test and gives clear orders to Seiha and Yuri for them not to allow the creature to leave them all. Jay will then lure it to the center of the area where they will finish it off. Everyone goes on their way after hearing the plan. Seiha starts the assault by smacking down the monster with a swing of his sword. Yuri also lands her attack and Jay lures it to the center. He pins it down with a powerful punch, but the B-rank monster recovers and opens gates to summon some support. However, Sylvie defeats the monster by dropping a bus on it using her abilities. Jay is impressed with her improvement and feels like she can be an excellent leader in the future. The team decide to go out to celebrate their first victory. Later, Kim gets word that Black Lambs are going to be part of their first combat mission, which is also top secret. They have been put in charge of handling an area by themselves. The manager is worried that they will have to deal with an unknown monster. Jay assures Kim that everything will be fine because the young members of the team are capable. The following day at school, Yuri gets excited that they have officially become closers because they have been issued their uniforms. She makes Seiha's friend take a picture of them to commemorate the day. All the while, Misteltein, who is one of Union's rising stars, has been assigned to the Black Lambs. He gets briefed on the devices that open dimensional gates as he flies into the country. The lad concludes that the devices are not man-made. He is also excited to conduct his first mission and meet his new teammates. During that interval, the Black Lambs are already on site and linger around as Minu from the SDC tries his best to disarm one of their suppression devices. He scolds Song for casually interrupting him because one mistake could trigger monsters to appear. She nonchalantly eats a chip while telling him to relax because they have the Black Lambs in case anything happens. Sylvie can be heard telling Seiha off for playing his game while on duty. Song interrupts to plead with the team to go investigate some dimensional traces that was detected near the new subway station. Seiha is sent to check it out, but he is not too happy about it because he wants to play his games. He jets across the skyline as the area gets cornered off. He notices a stranger on the roof. The lad assumes that it is some old man and asks him to evacuate. It is revealed to be Kalbak, and Seiha is surprised that the man knows who he is. The half-monster states that the master has mentioned him as a potential threat to their plan. Kalbak attacks as he hopes to make Seiha understand the reality of their world. The boy is confused and launches his counter after dodging. Kalbak effortlessly blocks Seiha's strikes and apprehends him. The other members of Black Lamb get worried that he has not returned from his recon and go after him. They call to him as they get closer. Kalbak overhears the team talking from the communicator. The bandage head takes their approach as the cue to start the next phase of his experiment. The team notice that Seiha might be in danger when they hear his cries. Kalbak uses his device to summon a giant monster called Merrick. It lands in front of the team and goes on a rampage. They immediately inform Kim of the situation. She heads to their location with members of the SCD in a helicopter, while the Black Lambs unleash multiple attacks at the monster. Sylvie tries to pin it down by dropping some buses on it, but it escapes. The team increase their intensity and create an opening for Jay to land a combination attack that sends Marek flying. The SCD helicopter arrives at the scene, and Kim doesn't see Seiha, so she asks them to help her find him. Minu spots him on the rooftop, and it is confirmed that he has been held captive by the bandage head. Song gives the order to the rifle team to rescue the lad. They open fire on Kalbak as soon as they get closer, but he blocks the bullets with a phase shield. Meanwhile, Misteltein senses the commotion below him as they reach the city. He opens the hatch and jumps off the plane. During that interval, the remaining black lambs struggle to stand their ground against Merrick when it recovers and blows them back with a powerful yell. The giant monster charges to finish them off as they recoil, but Misteltein performs an Avengers-style entrance when he lands an attack on Merrick as he descends. He has a smug look on his face knowing that it was a success. Kalbak decides to retreat for the time being, but he hints to more experiments to come. Seha is also released, but he is too weak to get up. The Black Lambs later review the footage of their encounter with Kalbak and Merrick. Jay states that a monster of that level has not appeared in their world for a long time. Kim also reveals that they have no records of Kalbak in their system. After the meeting, the manager worries about such young people facing monsters, but Jay assures her that he will put his life on the line to guarantee his youthful teammates are safe. All the while, the area that Merrick is expected to appear next has been pinpointed. The SDC will set up blockages around the area. A second defensive line to cover Misteltein will also be created, as he is the main closer who will deal with the monster. Giant suppression devices have also been set up around to help further neutralize the power of the gate. The remaining members of the team are tasked with protecting the suppression device. Sylvie looked over the mission brief and feels like it would be better if they try to defeat Merrick instead of trying to close the dimension gate it's predicted to come out from. She doesn't think that their suppression devices can keep the monster from appearing. Kim acknowledges her concerns but wants them to stick to the mission objective. Seha gets annoyed that better measures are not being taken to deal with Kalbak. Jay calms him down and promises the lad that they will investigate the bandage face later. Seha storms off, prompting Kim to dismiss everyone to their positions. The area is evacuated as the officers set up their equipment. The suppression devices are all activated. Yuri gets hyped that she gets to protect such an important device. Seha is in the exact opposite mood as he plays his game with his back to his machine. The team have a little chat across the intercom before things get serious. The suppressors work overtime to keep the dimensional gate closed. This causes the power to go out in the surrounding buildings. Misteltein remarks on how it's a good night to hunt, as the suppressors fail to prevent the gate from opening. Everyone is stunned as an even bigger Marek wants to break free. Misteltein takes the lead and lands a combination of attacks that allows Kim to send the suppressors into overdrive. This neutralizes the gate, forcing the monster to retreat. The humans' victory is short-lived when Kalbak makes an appearance. The bandage face is impressed by how effective the Black Lambs are. He goes straight to Jay's location and baits him to attack before deflecting him into the suppressor, which knocks Jay out. The damage takes it offline. Kalbak turns his attention to Yuri as he teleports and defeats her along with destroying her device. Sylvie is also taken out, leaving only Seha. The lad stands on high alert and manages to exchange a few blows with Kalbak when he pops up in his area. Seha demands the bandage face to identify himself, as well as how he was able to slip through their defenses. Kim orders Seha to escape, but he doesn't listen, leading to Kalbak getting the upper hand as he takes all suppressors offline. The gate begins to open again as a result. Marek jumps out and knocks Misteltein down with a surprise attack. The officers of the SDC shoot at the rampaging monster, giving Misteltein just enough time to put up his guard to protect himself from Marek's vicious attacks. Kalbak teleports to the main event to see how long the newcomer can last. All the while, Kim tries to get hold of Jay. Her voice causes him to regain consciousness. He rushes to stop Kalbak from interfering in Misteltein's fight. The bandage face gets pinned down by Jay, but he's forced to leave him and protect an exhausted Misteltein from Marek's attack. As he stands his ground, Song prepares to fire an armor-piercing round at the monster. Kalbak makes things harder when he hits Jay with some spikes. Song also hits Marek with the bullet, which alleviates pressure from Jay. He uses the last of his power and the anger from seeing his teammates incapacitated to execute a wombo combo that defeats the monster. Jay collapses as Kalbak escapes. The mentor is rushed to intensive care where he is hooked up to more machines than your favorite dictator on their deathbed. The whole team comes to visit since their injuries were not as bad. Kim blames herself, but the others don't see it that way. It is revealed that Jay managed to tag Kalbak with his transmitter, so they know his location. Kim makes sure that the team have strengthened their resolve, because they are going to face even more dangers if they are going to avenge Jay. That brings the series to an end.